right, thank you, everyone. Let me just open my juice box. Well, I have a juice box here. Courtesy of our guest today. Give us this juice box. Open your juice box now. Let's cheers.
Yeah, we are all kids here.
Yeah, open your juice box.
Okay, now. This is the juice box episode.
Let's cheers. Let me draw your mic in a little bit.
Like this?
Yeah.
I think it's good like this.
Okay. Yeah, tighten this thing. Okay. Alright. Cheers now. All right, let's kickstart the episode. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Bag is Bag podcast. Today we have a special guest with us. His name is Akeem. But before we always start Bag is Bag and get to know our guest, we'll play 3 rounds of categories. And for those joining us for the first time, categories is a game where you prompt the players to mention examples of a category that's drawn out of the deck of cards, and anyone that loses is the snoozer. And so we're going to play 3 rounds with Akeem. Akeem, are you familiar with the game?
Very familiar.
Very familiar. Okay,
in fact, I'm the champion in categories.
Sweet.
So
yeah. So how we do it. We always put a wager. We always bet.
Okay.
So we'll play 3 rounds. What would the winner get? What would the winner get? What do you want?
You give us a free trip to Dubai.
Free trip to Dubai.
Yeah. All expense paid.
To the sponsors of this episode, you are hearing that. All expense paid trip. But yeah, okay, we'll keep it simple. Uber Eats.
Okay.
Uber Eats. All right, so I'll first draw out a card.
Okay.
I'll just give it a nice shuffle and draw from the middle. Wow, this one is perfect. It's perfect for us. Are you ready?
Okay.
So the category is basketballers.
All right.
The category is basketballers, anywhere, dead or alive.
Okay.
Past, present.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm good. I'm straight.
Kyrie Irving.
Kevin Durant.
Luka Doncic.
Jason Brown.
LeBron James.
Kyrie.
Kawhi Leonard.
Paul George.
Oh fuck. I said Kyrie.
When?
Kyrie.
Did you say Kyrie?
Okay. I did say Kyrie. Okay. Nice one. I shall had maybe 5 prepared. So yeah, draw a card.
I told you guys I always win, eh?
Oh shit, this thing has poured on me. Damn. Okay.
All right. Okay. This is a very good one as well.
It's a good one as well. Okay, let's have it.
So, the category is soccer club teams.
All right.
So, are you ready?
Yup.
You snooze, you lose, bro.
You snooze, you lose. Okay, let's go.
Arsenal.
Chelsea.
Manchester United.
Manchester City.
Real Madrid.
FC Porto.
Barcelona.
AC Milan.
West Ham.
FC Porto.
Watford.
Man.
You snooze, you lose, brother.
I think I said one twice.
Nah, bro.
I said one twice. Yeah, let's go again. Nice one.
I told you guys I always win.
Nice one. Okay. Let's go. The category is car parts. Should we do this one?
Okay.
We should do it.
Yeah, let's get it.
Car parts that you know. Rim.
Windshield.
Radiator.
Tires.
Windscreen.
Pumps.
Bonnet.
Fuel tank.
The boot.
The nuts for the wheels.
The nut for the wheels. The dashboard.
The car stereo.
The steering.
The mirror.
Handbrake.
The headlight.
Side mirror.
The bumper.
I said bumper.
Did you say bumper?
I said bonnet. Fuck. Oh shit. 3-0. Wow.
Sweep.
Nice. So you have yourself free Uber Eats.
Thank you.
Free Uber Eats for you.
Like I said, I always win.
All right. So let's just back this up and get into the pod.
Okay.
So welcome everybody back to the pod. Today we have a guest, Akeem, and he has many career paths, but we'll leave it to him to sort of introduce himself. So Akeem, can you tell us about yourself? Your career path and how you got into that field.
Sure.
Yeah.
As our host here has introduced me, my name is Akeem.
Oh yeah.
So my background is in engineering. So I went to University of Ottawa for electrical engineering, and I've pretty much been like an engineer my entire career. So
Yeah.
I started um, in the control system engineering role. So I always deal with automatic trains.
Oh,
And
so for control systems, is
yeah.
it only trains or what can you do? Like, what does control systems engineer mean?
So if you're a control system engineer, you basically deal with hardware and software integration. So you can, for example, in my case, we control the trains with a controller automatically. So the trains like route themselves, like pick up passengers. So there's a whole engineering control system behind that, and most people don't know.
Oh
Like they
yeah.
ride driverless trains, and yeah. So, and it's pretty interesting.
Okay.
So that's why I've continued in this career path.
Oh, sweet.
And also I recently started learning about DevOps, and I'm I'm always looking to improve my knowledge in every engineering field. So yeah, that's a bit about my background in my career. Yeah.
Oh, sweet, sweet, sweet. And so, you mentioned about touching on like software and hardware.
Yeah.
What kind of courses would you do in like your undergrad, or like what kind of courses prepare you for being able to
Yeah.
merge the two together, software and hardware?
So electrical engineering is the balance or the bridge between hardware and
Oh,
software.
oh
So,
yeah,
like courses wise, if I can remember in school, especially in your third and fourth year,
yeah.
you take control system classes, you take wireless communication classes, you take power system classes, so, and you take you do a lot of labs
Oh yeah.
that you have to do some stuff on. Like there's this board we usually use, Arduino microcontrollers,
Okay.
to control like different sensors. So yeah, you take classes like that
Yeah.
that can blossom your interest in hardware and software integration. So
Yeah.
as like if you do electrical engineering, you can easily go into like computer engineering
Mm-hmm.
or computer science, or you can stick with the traditional electrical engineering stuff like power, wiring, and stuff like that.
So the sweet spot for anyone trying to do a merger of like software and hardware,
Yeah.
integrating them together, a sweet course to do is electrical engineering.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
it.
are you
That's the
biased?
perfect.
Are you biased towards electrical engineering?
No.
No,
And it's
but
a very is
it's
if
not hard.
yeah, it's like one of the hardest engineering disciplines, right?
Oh yeah.
If you take a like statistic, I think majority people will tell you it's the hardest.
Oh,
Yeah, so
it's not mechanical, not aerospace, not rockets, not.
probably like maybe aerospace,
Mm-hmm.
but that's more like niche. But like yeah, like if it's engineering, yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
one of them.
Oh okay.
Some people might say it's this. It depends on but like if you take a little bit of statistic, yeah, people
Okay.
say that. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So if you work us through your career, like moving on from school,
Yeah.
how was it like for you trying to get a job? What kind of jobs were you looking for when you were thrown out into the wild, like into
Yeah.
the job market? What kind of roles were you looking for?
Actually, that's a very good question, right?
Yeah.
So, um, after school, no one really tells you a lot,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Especially if you,
I
for
can
me,
relate.
I didn't do the co-op program in school,
Oh yeah.
right? So after like, I had a very crappy resume at first. So like, I finished school. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a job automatically because of the
Cause
type of
you.
program and like the school you came from. So like it's like, oh yeah, let's get it. So like the first month, I was kind of slacking.
Okay.
So like when I like after the first month of graduation, then I started like applying, but I only got like a bunch, like very few interviews actually that were even really not engineering. They were more like a technician kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But like after that, I did those interviews. That was my first time ever interviewing. I can remember the first time I interviewed with one company that does elevators. They asked me, tell me about yourself. I
Yeah.
didn't do any interview prep or anything. So I started telling this lady, like, oh, what I like and stuff like
Oh my
that. So that was
god.
like a big red flag then.
Oh yeah.
I started like doing more research. Then I modified my resume and yeah, I started applying again. Then the first job I got was with a company called Verifone. So it was like kind of like a tech support. It wasn't
Oh
really
yeah.
engineering. So I did that for like 6 months.
Was it this tech support? Was it touching on hardware and software? Tech support. And if I hear Verifone, Verifone has hardware. Yeah.
Yes,
So was
yeah,
it tech support for like software, hardware type of like?
exactly, yeah. So it was like for payment system, those pin
Oh
pads.
yeah.
So you had to help troubleshoot them. Sometimes they might have hardware failure or like software failure that you have to remote into their system and like clear some errors and troubleshoot stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't really like it. So I kept applying. Then
Oh.
I landed a job with a company called Thales.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was my beginning of like my engineering career.
Career.
Yeah.
And what role did you go into at the beginning of this your engineering career, and what did they ask you particularly in the interview? Like, yeah, what did they ask you? Yeah.
So in the interview was kind of funny because the first round, you speak with the recruiter on the phone. Then they ask you, tell me about yourself. This time I answered correctly.
Oh yeah.
And what you're doing. So I told them I was working in Verifone, and I tried to relate what I'm doing as best as I could with the job description I applied for.
Okay.
So that's very important. And HR people are non-technical, right? So
Okay.
they just want to see, oh, they just read the job description and are you like linking up with what is in the job description? So that would just that's the kind of like a hack for passing through the phone interview from the HR. So when you get to the main hiring manager, like it was more technical.
Oh yeah.
So that one I prepared for it. I've never been because Thales is like aerospace company that does control system for rail transit as well. So I read the job description, and even though I didn't have much experience there,
Yeah.
my final year project in university kind of helped me because my team then we built an autonomous scooter. So like we use the microcontroller to program like the scooter to move by itself. And that was kind of relating to autonomous trains that move by themselves. So
Oh.
that was one of the interests the hiring manager saw in me.
Oh
And
yeah.
I did something, right? I kind of like played the demo of the video for him
during the interview.
during the interview.
That must have been
So,
mind
like,
blowing. Yeah, for him.
Yeah, so I was trying to be creative, right? And that worked.
Sweet. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. What role was it? What role? Like, what was the title of the role?
So I started as a technical system engineer.
Okay.
When I started in Thales, yeah.
What did the day to day look like on that role?
So the day to day is kind of like a lot because first you have to test in the lab, test different test cases.
Okay. Test cases of what?
So test cases of we have a simulator that simulates a line of a train. For example, I'll use TTC as an example. The yellow line. So there's a simulator that simulates that. So you have to test different failure scenarios and report like bugs or like things that not according to the system design that you find. Then as well as you have to take those testing that you've done and go to the actual field to implement it.
Okay.
So it was hardware, software again.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And so when you simulate the line, I know for different trains,
Yeah.
there are different lines. Like, there are different lines in like London,
Yeah,
UK. There are different
exactly.
lines in New York, different lines in San Francisco. Toronto has its own different lines.
Yeah.
So do you actually simulate the line, the train line, the train path of each place you're working with, or there's just a universal one that can work with any train line?
No, it is unique to the project you're working on.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm working on TTC, you see the line on the simulator. So if I'm working in San Francisco, I'll see their own line. If I'm working in London, I'll see their own line. So different projects have different things, but it's the same concept.
Oh, yeah.
But different projects have their different iterations. Right?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and that's how I started. Then
what did you move on to?
Moving on, then I was promoted to like mid-level. Then I started traveling a lot.
Okay. To work on the line physically,
and like with the guys in the control room in that location. So yeah, I did traveling for like 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So good experience going to different cities.
How many? Can you count how many train lines you worked on? Like how many cities or how many train lines you worked on in total? Can you count, or is you just getting plenty back to back?
I can count cities, but lines that could probably be a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because, for example, giving you the cities, I'll start in Canada. I worked in Ottawa for the Confederation line. I worked in Edmonton for the Northern line.
Oh, sweet.
That's in Canada, and in Toronto too as well. TTC, the Scarborough line which has been decommissioned.
Oh, it's decommissioned?
Yeah.
The Kennedy
line,
to Miko one also.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they are building another one. So.
Oh, okay.
Then in the United States, I've worked in New York, the Flushing line, the one that goes from Queens to Manhattan. In West Virginia, that was for West Virginia University.
Okay.
Then where else in the U.S.? San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was one of my biggest projects I worked on.
I see.
Then outside of Canada, I worked in Dubai, and that's pretty much it. And London, yeah.
Oh, okay.
London.
And
so
how?
London was the biggest line, yeah.
Oh, is it the Elizabeth line?
Like it's called 4LM. So like all the Jubilee line.
Oh, I remember Jubilee line. Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So that was the biggest project, yeah.
Oh, that's the biggest project you worked on. And how tasking when you're on the field, how tasking is the work being on the field? Like, what do you actually do on the field? I know you say you test and things like you test the trains that are working, but what does that look like? If you can paint a picture of, your the routine of
Okay.
when you're in the field.
So it depends. If I'm working on a brand new line, it's a little bit easier in terms of you don't need to do as much planning.
Okay.
So you just have to go there because they have nothing working. So
Oh.
you can just go there, like hook your laptop to the train, do some scenarios, test the brakes, test the speed, go on. Yeah, so do all those fun testing. But when it comes to uh, a system that we call it brownfield,
Okay.
that is already existing, but they are trying to upgrade to the control system
That
train.
one is much harder to do.
That's yeah, it's much because you have to. There are two working systems, so you have to cut in and cut over this
Well,
one.
what is cutting and cut over?
So like when I say cut over, it means like I have a working system, but I'm temporarily shutting that down to test the new system.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so
That's why they close the line
yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
So if they close the line in TTC, you have who to blame. Yeah.
So yeah, so like stuff like that, and that requires a lot of planning and staging. So apart from actually doing the work, so planning and staging can even take more of the time than you doing the work because you have to cut back in time for revenue hours. So
Oh.
you can afford to like slack.
Do trains have and you'll be able to relate to this because in computing and DevOps and software you have error budget.
Yeah.
So trains to have error budget, like they must not be
Yeah.
downtime for a particular amount of hours
Yeah.
in a year or something like that.
Exactly. So yeah, those are like things you sign up in the contract
Okay.
when you'll be like, oh, but one of the requirements is that I must always stop at because a certain location on the platform 99.9999% of the time.
Okay.
So because you cannot misalign because if you imagine misaligning on the platform, you don't tune the control system properly, the doors will open outside of the platform, and that's a big problem.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you have to tune the control system for that, and also there's a lot of redundancies on the train as well. So if this goes down, there's another one that picks up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's always those error stuff like
Okay, that takes care of
so
it.
reliability is very critical. Yeah.
Is it only trains you've worked on? Because some of this experience can be shifted to other, other
Yeah.
fields, other things. Is it only train you've tested? Is there any other parts, maybe any other relating technology or transport method or?
Not quite because the only thing you can in the control system space, the only thing you can really work on is like trains
Oh,
or
yeah.
freight train, except you go into like aerospace
Oh, okay.
because they are very kind of related, right? And it's a very niche area, so it's an area that never really goes out of jobs.
Oh,
And
yeah.
once you are in it, and a lot,
I mean, the
not
money is
many,
plenty.
not many people have that experience
Oh, yeah.
with working with trains because worldwide is only like 4 companies that does it.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
So what are their names?
So Hitachi, which I currently work for, they just bought Thales.
Oh, yeah.
Alstom, Siemens, and I think General Electric.
Oh,
They
okay.
they do
Yeah.
that, but very so if you go anywhere in the world, their train is done by all those four.
Either one of
It used to Bombardier used to be there, right? But
Bombardier is-
Alstom bought
Oh.
Bombardier, yeah. So
Sweet,
yeah, it's a very niche stuff. So But yeah, that's it about training. Then
Oh, okay.
recently I started
Into DevOps. But
DevOps.
before
Yeah.
we go into DevOps, what does the trajectory of being a trained engineer look like? What does when you start out, the how does growth look like in that career?
The growth is very fast if you are dedicated. So, like for me, between the first year I started and now, you can hit the senior role or like lead engineer role or like the manager role if you are like if you exert yourself in the right way. So
Yeah.
there are different areas in the rail business. So you can either do commissioning, which I'm doing. You can do system design, which is designing how the system will operate. You can do RAMs, which is reliability, availability. You can do, and the last one is you can do like project management too.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
that
yeah,
one would be a very big one for
yeah,
engineers. Yeah.
yeah. So like, so you can. They're different, and the biggest, one of the biggest ones as well is safety. You can be a safety engineer.
Oh,
So those are the areas you can go. So once you, I think in your first year, you just have to work in all of them, like work here, work there, and see the one you like.
you did everything too.
Yeah, I kind
Okay.
of touched on, in my first 2 years, I touched on different aspects.
Oh, sweet.
And I just zoned in on the one I liked. Then once you zone in on the one you like, then you just keep moving up because, like I said, not too many people are knowledgeable about the rail control system. So
Okay.
if you know what you want, and if you know how to implement, like
You go
you
far,
go
brief.
far,
Oh, okay.
and you never really run out of jobs
Oh,
because if you can just easily move around between those companies because it becomes very easy to hire you in those companies. Yeah.
oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Makes sense. And so I'm getting you that the field is very niche.
Yeah.
The supply of trained engineers is not a lot.
Yeah.
There are very few companies out there, and so it's pretty easy. Is easy to stay longer in the field.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
easy to move up quickly in the field. So
Yep.
I think for people that are trying to get into that field, first start out with studying engineering, electrical engineering. Is there any other field that anyone you
Yeah.
can go into?
It doesn't even matter if you can study. You don't have to go to university to study engineering.
Oh
You
yeah.
can do like engineering technology or some kind of like technology
Oh yeah.
role because nowadays like all what I did in school I apply maybe like 10%, right? So
Yeah.
you learn,
Everything you learn on the job.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you learn on the job. So it's just like, so long as you do something technical related,
Okay.
especially maybe in computer or electrical, mechanical, yeah,
Oh.
is you can just get in. So it's just how you apply yourself.
Oh, sweet.
That's the thing.
Sweet.
It's just how you apply yourself and what you are willing to learn. So if you are interested, just say get on any of those entry level roles. You can even start as a contractor, and
Oh,
yeah,
and then
and
you
yeah,
keep learning,
you
you move
just keep
forward.
learning,
Okay.
move forward. Yeah, it's easy to move up if you like it as well.
Oh,
So
I see.
yeah,
Okay, switching gears now to your newfound passion for uh, DevOps, developer operations.
yeah.
How did you pick interest into that field? What kind of prompted you to start learning DevOps and start learning the tooling of
Yeah.
DevOps? And what does that look like for you?
Yeah, that's a good question too.
Yeah.
So like I said, from when um, were doing like I was kind of working with the software team at my job, and
Oh yeah.
they were doing all this storing the source code in Git. I'm like, what's Git? And I looked it up because you needed to pick up stuff from there.
Oh
Then
yeah.
because we do a lot of testing, and you need like we usually use hardware to test. Like for example, in a test environment, you see like 4 to 5 CPUs,
Okay.
right, to simulate the controller of the train, the wayside equipment, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But our company was transitioning into cloud testing. So those computers are now hosted in the cloud,
Okay.
and you can just spin up those VMs
Oh yeah.
and test on them. So I'm
Okay.
like, oh, what is this? This is cool, right?
Mhm.
So then I did that cloud testing for a while, but I just wanted to know. I was just like a user, like, oh, give me this. I didn't know how,
Oh yeah.
like, we used Jenkins to spin up like one of the VMs, and so I didn't know what was happening. I just said, okay, let me s- deal more in this. Then our host here
Oh yeah.
is a chairman. I started asking more questions. Our host here is a big chairman, so he kind of like introduced me to what he
I
was
see.
doing. That time he was in, you were working in Twitter, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
IBM?
I was in Twitter. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he said, oh, he's an SRE. They do a lot of DevOps stuff. Like,
Yeah,
he started,
automation,
yeah, he started
cloud.
talking about Terraform and like how to um, basically how those VMs. I was thinking, now how does this work? Like, he told me, oh, this is how it works. And the key thing in engineering is knowing how things work.
Yeah, first
That's
principles all the
first
time.
principle, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, and that helps in in interviews, because all the interviews you go, you can sweet talk, but like when they drill down to some
Yeah.
questions, if you don't know the basics, you can't even say anything,
Oh yeah, yeah,
right?
true. Yeah, it's
So
always
that's
first
one of
principle.
my interview 101 tricks. Always know why this is
Yeah,
happening.
know the
Know the
fundament.
why.
Yeah, know the fundamentals. You
Yeah.
don't even have to even be able to like answer the
Answer the
question
question,
very
yeah.
well. Yeah, but if you
Yeah.
can get the
So if you
fundamentals,
know
yeah.
the why, then you if they ask you something, at least you have an idea of something to say. So that was the reason why I started like looking into this. So I had to know, okay, how does you spin up how does VM just appear in AWS? I know why, because someone wrote this Terraform stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, so I started drilling down, self learning, and yeah, I was able to like enter into the field, get to know into the field, and now I'm still struggling, but I'm improving myself,
Oh
and
that.
yeah, so yeah, and I'm becoming more and more successful in the field too.
Sweet, sweet. And what would you say was the most challenging? What tools have you been learning on your own? What tools have you been learning? And like, what has been the most challenging, maybe tool to work with in DevOps field?
Okay, so challenging, I would say databases are kind of challenging to me at the
Okay.
moment, and configuration management tools. Like current, like right now, I use
Oh,
Salt
okay.
Stack. So it's not really easy to like wrap your head around it if you're not. Even the senior engineers in my company struggle with it sometimes,
Oh yeah.
right? So that's a tough thing if you really don't know how to do it. But and also Kubernetes,
Oh yeah.
which I've been playing around with.
Okay.
So Kubernetes is very interesting and is tricky at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a 4 year course.
Yeah, so there's a lot of But if you really drill down Kubernetes, it makes things way easier in the DevOps space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
see.
those are the
The-
kind of like challenging point. But to start off, I feel you have to know a lot about networking.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So also like when I was in the rail, um, it's you do a lot of networking because you have to this has to communicate with that, but this is like wires, but this one is software, so that's how you
Oh.
can relate it. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
so that's those are the tough part, but the interesting parts are like Terraform. I find Terraform very interesting.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like a building block. If you like Lego, it's like
Oh yeah.
building infrastructure. So that's very interesting if you are interested.
Oh, sweet, sweet,
Yeah.
sweet. And I just have two more questions for you. And I'd like to know, how do you stay productive through your? How have you been able to stay productive through your career? Like, what strategies and tools do you use to stay productive, stay on top of your game, be productive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the most important thing is family, right? So if you
Mm.
have good family around you,
Oh yeah.
it helps ease the stress a little bit.
Ah, I
Yeah,
see.
and good guys like this,
Good guys like this too. I see.
they help a lot
Sweet, sweet.
because like in Canada here it gets very lonely. Like you just work and you can crash. Like if you're not
Yeah.
careful, right? So yeah, having good people around is key. And yeah, number two is have like a hobby, like something to look forward to in the weekend,
Oh yeah.
not just oh it's the weekend I'm just gonna
Akeem is always playing golf. Yeah, he's always
it's
playing
just
golf.
gonna stay in that crash. So yeah, you have to look for something to do, right? Like yeah, he said, well, in the summer we play golf on
In the
every
winter,
Sunday.
we stay.
Yeah,
In the winter, we're at home.
yeah,
Um,
play video games. Yeah, so just something to like ease off your mind. Yeah,
yeah, I see. I see. Makes
yeah.
sense. And for being a train engineer, what advice do you have for people? Can you just tell us some tips and advice for people that are looking to go into the field or are in the field starting out? What tips do you have for them generally?
So if you want to start off as a control engineer and like maybe go into the rail part, because if you're a control engineer, you can also be in aerospace or like oil and gas as well.
Oh yeah.
But like yeah, if you want to be like trained there, the advice I give is number one, know like the key concepts in control system, like different types of controllers, like PID controllers and stuff like that. That's number one. Then you should always be curious to know why people are connecting this to that, right? So like once you are lucky enough to land a job interview,
Oh yeah.
so you should try and like show the hiring manager like you're interested, like because they know not many people know about this. So is your interest in asking questions that oh I've done this in the past, do you think I can relate it to this? So they just want to know that okay, you are a forward thinker, you know like basic stuff, you're good with computers like Linux and all those stuff. So
Oh yeah.
when you learn all those, when you know all those basic stuff, and you're applying for an entry level role, they don't expect much. So they just want you to show like, okay, this is what I know, and this is how I think I can apply it.
Yeah.
How do you think I do? So that's a very good way to like convince people that oh, you are in. And once you get in, is you have to be consistent. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
So because it can get stressful sometimes when they ask you to do a whole bunch of things and you're overwhelmed. But trust me, people are always overwhelmed. So you take your time. So long as you consistently do something right, I think you progress a long time. So you can't give like 100% here, 50% there. Like, nah, it won't take you
Yeah.
far. Yeah,
You just have to.
yeah.
You
You
have
have
to
to
be
level
steady.
up.
Yeah.
When you level up, you stay steady. You level up. So and that will give you more grounding. Then yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Stay grounded.
yeah.
Yeah, play level. Um, well, that's good. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Yeah.
Akeem. This was fun. I learned a thing or two.
What did you learn?
I'll be a train engineer. Don't worry, tomorrow. But I learned, solidifying yourself in that fundamentals,
Yeah.
the core principles, sort of what kind of degrees lead to what kind of degrees or education or learnings lead to being a train engineer or control systems engineer.
Yeah.
Even learning what control systems engineer is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
so
it's pretty fun.
yeah.
But
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
thank you. Bag is bag.
Yeah.
The top podcast in GTA.
Yeah.
So
In Canada,
yeah.
GTA Canada.
So yeah.
All right. We'll wrap
Thank you
it up
very
here.
much.
You're welcome.
Peace.
Peace.